Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the Twins today, and they're a pretty interesting team to talk about. Um, you know, they have the White Sox in their division, and I think it's safe to say at this point that the White Sox are going to take the number one seed and take the AL Central. They clinched a playoff spot today. Um, the Twins, they just came off a four-game set against them. They lost three of their four against them, so I think it's safe to say that the Sox are probably going to clinch the AL Central. If we look at the Twins, they're at the Cubs. They lost one yesterday. Then they got a two-game stint against the Tigers. And then they're facing a really hot Reds team who just won six in a row. Yeah, I'm going to say that safe bet that the White Sox take the division. I think there would be an interesting topic to talk about in the future. But for now, we're talking about the Twins. So if we look at this Twins team, the one player that really stands out is obviously Nelson Cruz. He's been batting like crazy. I mean, the fact that he's doing what he's doing at the age of 39 is beyond crazy of itself. Kind of like reminiscence of Barry Bonds. I hope I just didn't jinx Nelson Cruz of taking steroids, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's legitimate talks about Nelson Cruz winning AL MVP. And I mean, he definitely looks like he definitely looks like an MVP candidate. Definitely a Hank Aaron Award nominee. He's batting 314. His OPS his OBP is a 4.3 with an OPS of a 1.026. Just amazing, man. He's third in the league in home runs with 16, behind Trout and Voit. And I mean, what else is there to say other than he's doing what he's doing at age 39 is absolutely crazy. And I think it's, worth mentioning that, the Twins are a really good hitting team, and they shown that last year and they showed it again this year. Not like historically like they did last year where they broke the record for most home runs in the season, and they're still, record keepers for probably a little bit until like the team like the Yankees or even themselves break the record. Who knows? But they went from being first in the league in home runs to I think sixth this year. So, they're still a hot team when it comes to hitting home runs. They got Nelson Cruz, they got Josh Donaldson, Miguel Sano, all those guys, right? One part I've been really disappointed about is definitely Mitch Garver. I mean, he's coming off a season where he just won the Silver Slugging Award for catchers, and he just hasn't been looking good. I think now he's the backup catcher for him, and they are starting Ryan Jeffers, which is a bit of a concern because Garver had a really great season for the Twins. I always liked Garver when he was with the Red Wings. It would be sad to see if he just, had one good season and then just fell off the planet. I don't want that to happen with him. Anyways, there's other players to talk about. Max Kepler, his batting average went down by 50 points, by 50 batting average, but he's still hitting home runs. He could be their fifth guy on the rotation if he was, playing good, but he hasn't really been that guy where, he's been walking a lot. I mean, that's important for them. You got Kepler, Cruz, and then Jeffers comes up. But, actually, no, this isn't their lineup. This is the team batting lineup. This is their team batting stats. I don't know what their lineup looks like, but I'm going to guess that Kepler's their fifth guy, sixth guy around there. I mean, yeah, they got Rosario, Buxton, Donaldson, Polanco, Miguel Sano. He's been really good this year. I like him. A lot of these guys are hitting 216, like in the 210 range, 220 range. But Jeffers has been really good this year for the for the Twins, so you might as well start him over Garver, who has been struggling really badly. Pitches worth mentioning. I like Medea. I love Barrios. Very good pitchers. I think the question with Barrios is he going to be their future ace? I think he can be. It really depends on what they're going to do with Medea, though. And I'll talk about their contracts pretty soon. So, I'm looking at this team right now. And with their pitching, I like what they have. They got Sergio Romo. He's always been a reliable option from the past, with the Twins, with the Giants. I think it's safe to say that everybody likes Sergio Romo. He's just got that intensity in him. Tyler Duffin, he's been dominant for them. He's been their best player, best reliever in my eyes. 177 ERA with 20 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts. Second behind Trevor May when it comes to relieving. They have a really good relieving squad, man. They really do. And, Taylor Rogers, he's their closer. He'll definitely help you out. If I remember correctly, this isn't his best season. I mean, I think he hasn't been great for this season. I think he went from having a 2.5 ERA to now a 5. He hasn't been the closer that he's been for the Twins for the past couple of years, but I think he's just, a lot of pitchers this year are just having this weird year where they've just been struggling. Same trend goes to catchers as well. Just a lot of common trends this year. Struggling pitchers, struggling catchers. You get the point. I mean, there's really nothing to say other than they are basically the same team as they were last year, except they're hitting less home runs. Now, let's talk about what their playoff ambition is going to look like. If they're taking the 4th seed, they will be probably going up against the team like the Yankees, which we all know have a really bad rep against them in the playoffs. Whenever they meet them, they lose. But is it a possibility where they actually might beat the Yankees? That could be a possibility because the Yankees, even though they have won their last 8 games, there's still concerns about them, about their health, about if they're going to stay hot, which I don't think they'll. In my honest opinion, the Yankees are, they're facing a really easy schedule. I mean, and the Twins are facing some pretty good competition going down the stretch. I mean, they're facing the Reds, who are really hot right now. They won 8 in a row. No, actually 6 in a row. My bad. Tigers are that team that you might not think they're going to win against you, but they can pull off some surprises. They're really interesting to talk about. I like to talk about them in the future. And the Cubs, well, I think they clinched the NL Central, if I'm not mistaken, or they're in the playoffs discussion again. So I think the scheduling might be a bit of an advantage for the Twins because this is a good warm-up for them to face a team like the Yankees, who are facing a lot easier competition in my eyes. I mean, if you face a team like Miami, I mean, come on. But can they win against the Yankees is really the main question about this Twins team. Part of me wants to believe they can, but it really entirely depends on who's going to be that guy for them in their hitting lineup. Is it going to be Nelson Cruz? You would think so. Maybe Miguel Sano can be their guy that's just like, hey, I'm going to hit a bunch of home runs. I'm going to get a lot of doubles in this 3-game, 5-game set. I don't know how the playoff set is going to go this year. I know that they're going to do a 1/8 seed sort of thing, how the NBA does it, which I have a really entitled opinion about that, why they should stick with their original playoff format. But just for this year, it'll be interesting to see. But anyways, the Twins, they're capable. They're capable of going in a deep playoff run. They just got to get past the Yankees. And if they do win against the Yankees, they're most likely going to run into the White Sox, who they have been struggling against all season long. And the White Sox are a really hot team. They're finally figured it out, batting wise. They got Gio, and he's been a really good pitcher this year. Cy Young nominee sort of pitcher. And yeah, that would be pretty interesting. I mean, if they make it to the ALCS, I'd be pretty surprised because they got a really tough road ahead of them if they do keep the 4th seed. Now I want to talk about their contract situation because that's really interesting to talk about. So this year alone, Nelson Cruz becomes a free agent this year, and you would have to figure that the Twins will re-sign him. He's making $12 million this year. And I see why wouldn't they not sign him back? Because if this guy is, leading the league, not leading the league, he's top 3 in home runs, and he's been consistently good for you for the past, 3 years for you, and he's been proven time after time again. I'd see why wouldn't you sign him to a 2-year deal worth about, I'd say $40 million. That might be a huge gamble, but it also could be a gamble to be worth paying. But then again, they're gonna be losing some guys this year. One guy in particular is Marvin Gonzalez. He might be set off to go become a free agency. Trevor May, he could be gone. And if I remember correctly, Mitch Garver is in his re-announcing rights, so they have him for quite a while. Hopefully he bounces back. And then the year after, they got to decide what they want to do with Michael Pena. They got to decide what to do with Sergio Romo. I hope Romo consistently stays on top of his game and just becomes their guy and the reliever where it's like, hey, I can be that spark plug for you. Because they probably need to keep him around because they might lose May in the free agency this year. Eddie Rosario, he set up to become a free agent. So 2021 looks pretty interesting. They might lose a couple pieces. They drafted really well to form the squad, and they signed some pretty key veterans like Josh Donaldson and Nelson Cruz. And then 2020 is a really big year for them because they have to decide what to do with guys like Jose Barrios, and I'm forgetting one more guy, but it's a big year nonetheless. They got Josh Donaldson locked up for until 2024, and he's been performing like he's supposed to. Miguel Sano, they got him for a little while. Jorge Polanco, he's pretty much in a pretty good deal with them. He signed up like a 4-year deal. It was pretty cheap, but that was before he kind of like took off as a player. So Twins did pretty good of getting him for pretty cheap. So they got a pretty good situation in their salary cap situation. Now here's the question: are they able to bring in another guy in free agency where it's like, hey, we could bring in a guy like, I don't know, like Cody Bellinger, someone that will like really become their just straight up adds to the core, helps them out. Probably. They can probably do it. But it entirely depends on how they're going to approach with Nelson Cruz. Are they willing to let him go? Probably. Because he is 39 after all. And it's really worth mentioning because as much as he's proven that age doesn't matter, it does matter because it's like, well, yeah, you've been good for the last 2 years, but what are you going to look like for the next 2 years? They got a young team. They got Josh Donaldson for a good amount of time. And I think he's going to be really good up until his contract ends, and I think he's going to just be the average DH. All I got to say about this Twins team is they got a 3 to 4 year window to go in playoff runs. And the goal for this team is to make it to ALCS without running into the Yankees. And I'm rooting for these guys. Even though I'm a Yankee fan, but I've always liked this team. So there you go.